Monday. What is the day after? Tuesday. The sun setting, sun rising. You know, one of our scholars called Ibn al-Qayyim, may Allah have mercy upon him, he said it's illogical, this universe without creator. You can see this universe is being taken care of. Order, everything, understand? When one of our scholars called Sheikh Fawzan, he said that if everything is randomness, let us be true to our statement. If everything is randomness, then how come every woman give a birth to a child? Because if it's randomness, what it means, because we have to be true to our statement. Randomness meaning anything can happen. A woman can give birth to chicken give birth to a rat give birth to elephant. Because it's randomness, everything's happening. You understand? The fact that we see order, knowledge, you know, even you grow up, Allah created you as a weak child. You grew up, and you go back to what? To become weak again. Even the trees and everything, they grow up to become stronger, then they become weak. That Allah shown us, all of you are weak except Allah. All of us, you know, subhanallah. So Allah has shown that He's the all-powerful. What I'm saying to you, sister, this from a rational argument. Also from a rational argument, okay, let me ask you, who knows the future in details? No one except a creator, because why? If I create a phone, if I'm the first person to make a phone from scratch, no one knows about the phone in details except who? Except me. Because I made it from scratch, yeah? Likewise, now when you come to Prophet Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam, he said he was a messenger of the Most High, the Creator, Allah. He came with the prophecies about the future. You don't have to be a Muslim to see it. You can see it even if you are not a Muslim. Prophet Muhammad told us there will come a time when you see the barefoot Arab man, the Bedouins, competing in building tall buildings. Yeah? When the Prophet Muhammad mentioned that, alayhi salatu wasalam, that was 1,400 years ago. Let me ask you, where is the tallest building in the world? Who said Dubai? Let's answer. Not cheating exam, brother. Exam, not cheating, yeah? Yeah. You know, is it in Dubai, yeah? Burj Khalifa. Yeah, Burj Khalifa. Who's competing with them is Saudi. So the question you ask yourself, how a man that existed 1,400 years ago, when there was no any indication in the Arab Peninsula, when there were people of tents, they didn't even have proper houses. You know, they were barefooted people, they were shepherds. There were no any indication to indicate that will happen. Rather, historically speaking, from Muslim sources and non-Muslim sources, that the Romans and the Persians, back in those days, they were great empires. They were coming after the Prophet Muhammad's followers. So it was more likely, there was more proofs that Prophet Muhammad's followers, they would perish. The Arabs, they're going to perish. But what happened? They became leaders. And what happened? They start competing in building tall buildings. The question, how a man that existed 1,400 years ago, telling us about something, not randomly, specifically, precisely. Because why? He said he's a messenger of Allah. The other thing, you know about interest? Interest, yeah. Yeah, interest usually, like banks. Yeah, when they borrow you 10,000, you have to give it back 15,000, yeah? Prophet Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam told us, it will come a time when interest will become widespread. Even if you are not involved directly, it will affect you. Wait, this is so powerful. This cannot be coming just you guessing. No. You become widespread. Even if you're not involved directly, it will affect you. Now, but therefore, if you open a bank account, you are involved in interest, even if you don't like it. The question, how this man who existed 1,400 years ago in the middle of nowhere is coming with his prophecies. So what I'm doing, I showed you a rational argument about Allah's existence. Likewise, I'm strengthening it more stronger about this man who is coming with these prophecies, not just prophecies. I can go on about prophecies. I'll give you another prophecy that Prophet Muhammad mentioned. Prophet Muhammad mentioned when he was in Mecca, he had very few followers. And his followers, they were getting punished and tortured by the Arab pagans, the leaders who rejected his message, yeah? So Prophet Muhammad was telling his companions at that time in Mecca, he's telling them, you're going to conquer Persia and Persia and Byzantine and the Romans, yeah? And back in those days, Persians and the Romans, they had, the world was divided into two. Either you belong to the Persian Empire or to the Byzantine Empire, yes? So the point here is, that he's telling them that you will overpower them. There's an English historian, he said this prophecy is like crazy. How he's telling the people, there were few of them, they were being punished and tortured, they're gonna overpower. They were scared for their lives just with their own people, like them, normal people, let alone Persia and Byzantine. Historically speaking, the time of the Prophet Umar ibn Khattab, who is the companion of Prophet Muhammad, Khalid ibn al-Walid, one of the Muslim soldier, he defeated Persia and Byzantine.
Both of them.
Both of them at the same time. Also, Prophet Muhammad also in the Quran. You know, there is no any doubt, sister. You have to understand, there is a huge war against Islam. There is a big campaign. In Australia itself, by itself, there's every day many articles speaking in a negative way about Islam. Yeah? Likewise in Britain, likewise in France, likewise in Belgium, Germany, and so on. But we know the fastest growing religion in the Western world is what? Is Islam. Recently, there's a statistics came out that Christianity is declining, Islam is inclining. Yeah? But guess what? Allah mentioned that in the Quran 1400 years ago. هو الذي أرسل رسوله بالهدى ودين الحق ليظهره على الدين كله. It is Allah who sent his Prophet Muhammad with Islam in order for Islam to overpower all other religions, to prevail. Now this statement, Allah mentioned this 1400 years ago. Now there is many barriers, because you have to understand the opponents of the Muslims, they have strong material, they have strong money, they have more money than us, yes? Big companies, but yet Islam is spreading. You know who's doing the job? The creator of everything. Because if you look at it from material point of view, the Muslims don't really have a strong social media like how the Western world controls social media. So from material point of view, if you get a what, doesn't make any sense to me. These guys, they don't even have enough tools to overpower the Western media to defend their religion, but Islam is spreading. Because it's not us doing the job, it's Allah, the creator of everything. You understand? Also, what I was going to mention, so far, what do you think what I said before I carry on?
It's interesting. I had a conversation with somebody else before, and he sort of walked me through the whole thing as well.
Yeah.
It's definitely, there are some interesting things.
Yeah, because you know, when I have discussion, I will make sure that everything's clear before I move on. Yeah. And also, what makes special about Islam as well, and show that Islam from God, yeah, from the creator of everything, and Prophet Muhammad is the messenger of Allah. You know, Islam came to preserve 5 things. Pay attention to this. Yeah? Islam came to preserve 5 things. Islam came to preserve religion. What does that mean when we say Islam came to preserve religion? I mean, in Islam, worshipping Allah alone and keeping Islam the way it is very important. And anyone who tries to break down that, there is a capital punishment for it. Understand? And we're going to show you why there is capital punishment for breaking Islam or going against Allah. Yeah? Because when you worship Allah alone and you follow Islam, that's the first thing. Islam came to preserve religion. Because when you don't have the true God, we start following our desires. Correct? Today, it's very sad what we see. Some people do identify themselves as a rabbit, as yes, that's the reality. Yeah, they will lie. You know, seriously. There is a woman. She in California. She was in a changing room. A man came in, and she was very surprised. Non-Muslim. She called. She said, "I was changing," and this man. She said, "You have to respect him because why? He identified himself as a woman." You know. So, and Allah mentioned that in the Quran, by the way. This is another prophecy. Allah mentioned in the Quran, there's a verse that Satan will inspire people to change Allah's creation. To make it clear to you, sister, imagine I say to you, look, sister, I feel like I'm armless. I'm what? Armless. Yeah? Even though clearly you see I have an arm. But you know, but I feel I was born in the wrong body. I'm armless. Would you help me to cut it off?
It's actually a thing. People do that.
I'm asking, would you help me? No way, because you can see you're a smart girl. How on the earth we are taking people's money, taxes, to go help a man because he feels something good in him, cut off everything. And that's what Allah mentioned in the Quran, the meaning of it. You know, the meaning of it will indicate that they will change Allah's creation. Yes, the verse about the animals, but also it's general. And that's what we see now. And this is the outcome of not having the true God. When you have no God, because everything becomes subjective. That's why they say the truth according to you. The truth according to him. But that leads to what? It leads to destruction. Because I can do some evil things and I say, no. You believe it's wrong because according to you. But it's right according to me, so we have to respect one another. You have to respect another because you cannot force me. But Islam comes in now. That leads to destruction. And Allah mentioned in the Quran, if the truth follow people's desires, the heavens and the earth will be corrupted. What does that mean, the verse? It means that if the truth starts, if the people start dictating what is the truth, then everyone has desires. So the first one, Islam came to preserve religion, all right? Worshipping God alone. Secondly, Islam came to preserve intellect. That's why in Islam, smoking drugs and drinking alcohol is forbidden. Thirdly, Islam came to preserve wealth. That's why gambling and interest is forbidden. Fourthly, Islam came to preserve marriage and lineage and heritage. That's why fornication, adultery is forbidden. Fifthly, Islam came to preserve life. That's why taking anything harming your body, committing suicide, killing innocent people is forbidden. These 5 things that Islam came to preserve, if we do preserve them, we will have a healthy society, a good society. And in Islam, not just preserve them by, no, even there's a punishment for that. What is the opposite of that? Alcohol. Is alcohol good for us? Alcohol is bad for us, individually and collectively, all right? Like gambling. Gambling is bad for us, individually and collectively. Interest make the rich richer, poor poorer. So, yes, there is some people are benefiting from these vices. Likewise, fornication, destroy families, households, you know. So, and all of this evil goes back to the greatest evil, which is when you turn away from your Creator. When you start worshiping a false God, or you turn away from your Creator. And like I said, yes, there is some people benefiting from these vices. That's why these vices, which I have mentioned to you, is bad for us. In many countries, it's been glamorized and promoted and glorified. Why? Because those who are, when I say the people, the elite, no, I'm not talking about like president, no, there's secret societies who are making money from the suffering of the people. They don't care about us. They care about their pockets. Bankers and so on, they don't care. If you kill yourself, as long as they're making money. That's why here, that's the point. You have to understand this point very well. That's why majority of times, those who are very hostile to Islam are those who are in power, because they look at Islam as a threat for their business. Because Islam is coming to protect you and protect society from alcohol, drugs, gambling and so on. But I'm making money from that. So I'm going to look at you as an evil man, even though you're a good woman. So what I'm going to do, because I'm a rich man, I'm going to utilize my money to make you look bad, even though you're a good person. How is happening now? Through the media. Yeah? But the question you ask yourself, how a man that existed 1,400 years ago is coming with is a perfect way of life. On the other hand, we have these politicians who studied in the best universities around the world. They cannot resolve the problems we are facing. Because that man is a messenger of the creator of everything. And the creator of everything, when he legislates something for you, he will not legislate something to harm you. And let me show you when we do not follow God, we start following our desires. I can go to off license. You know off license, yeah? He's selling alcohol, correct? And I'm selling drugs, wal-iyadu billah. The police will come and arrest me. Even though what I'm selling can cause lesser harm than the alcohol that is being sold in off license, yes? So, and majority of crimes in Britain, according to my knowledge, because of alcohol. So why I'm not allowed to sell drugs, and why the person off license is allowed to sell alcohol, even though it causes harm and it leads people to do crimes? Because that's when you have desires. When you have desires, I love alcohol, so I'm going to do, say alcohol is okay. I don't like drugs, so I'm going to say it's not okay. You see, and that's what Allah mentioned in the Quran. So when you say Islam is a perfect way of life. That's why it's impossible for one man to come with this legislation, detailed legislation. Because now if you have a country, you have to get experts in war, experts in economy, experts in society, experts in many things. Islamic society is based upon one man's teaching in every field, in marriage, in divorce, in war, in peace, in everything. In transactions, no way in the history one man can come with this detailed legislation, except of course Moses is a prophet. We believe that. If someone say Moses, I say yeah, prove my point. I believe Moses is a prophet. So I'm saying when you reflect upon Islam, there's overwhelming proofs, either intellectual proofs, tangible proofs that Islam is the truth. You see, what do you think what I said so far about this legislation and so
Very
on?
interesting.
Yeah, makes sense?
Yeah.
Shamsi,
Yeah.
I just want to add something.
Yeah, go on.
Because we have discussion like in the university about that when we speak about the Creator and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Of course, we know what happened because I'm Muslim and the Muslim know that. But they always ask me this question, I don't know how to answer it. What happened before Big Bang? I know that what exists,
I mean,
but
I
how
don't.
we can answer that?
I don't believe. I don't believe in Big Bang to be.
Yeah, but they
we don't
believe
believe. Who believe creator? Yeah, but there's no proof for it.
Yeah.
I believe this universe create, no doubt, and it's something which is well rooted in us. Like you and I and the clouds. We were not here. Just the cloud was not here yesterday. It's coming to existence. Understand? Anyway, we believe as a Muslim, this is not the first creation of Allah, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's name is Al-Khallaq, the extensive creator. There was other creation. You understand? So Allah mentioned that because that's why the reason we reject the Big Bang, because the Big Bang says time and space came into existence after. But no, in the Quran shows there was time and space before that, because the throne exists before that, the throne of Allah. Okay, there was a water before that. So the brothers out there stop using, because what happens? Some Muslims, they want to try to prove Islam is the truth, so they use science. This science is a fake science. There's two types of science. There's a hardcore science and there's a fake science. Hardcore science, one make a phone, one make a wash machine. But this science about cosmology, a lot of it is assumption, just guesswork. All right. So the point here is that yes, there's other creation. There's other creation. How Allah knows best. I don't know. But we know before that there was a throne, there was a water. Before that, yes, yeah.
The other
But one thing before,
Of course.
I just want to mention something. There's another verse in the Quran, yeah. Allah said, "Am khuliqu min ghayri shay'in, am humul khaliqun, am khalaqu as-samawati wal arda bal la yuqinun." Were they created by nothing, or did they create themselves? Look at this logical, rational argument. And by the way, Allah is not asking as an open question. This is called rhetorical question. Rhetorical question, yeah. I mean, Allah is rebuking you. How can you think you came without a creator? So let us see. Allah said, "Am khuliqu min ghayri shay'in." Were you created by nothing, or did you create yourself? So let us see this universe. If I say to you, this universe was created by nothing, would you accept that? Nothing, by the way, non-existent.
I always thought it's maybe randomness.
Randomness is not an entity. Randomness is an action that someone do.
Nobody really knows what happened before the Big Bang.
No, but let us reflect. Let us use our sound reasoning. Like the phone, you haven't seen the person who made the phone, and you haven't seen what happened before he made the phone. But you utilize your sound reasoning, your natural inclination to know is made. It's impossible to randomness to create iPhone. Okay? Okay. If I say to you iPhone was made by a rock, would you accept that? Okay. If I say to you iPhone was made by a child that is 2 years old, would you accept that? Okay, rock has energy, by the way. A child has energy and it has little knowledge. But looking at the phone and looking at the child, it's impossible for this beautiful, well-designed, organized phone to be created by a child, yeah? But if I say to you the iPhone was made by someone who has PhD, how to make a phone, you accept it, okay? Who's more complicated and more defined and more organized? The phone or your eyes? Your eyes. Yeah. So how your eyes, you saw, like I said to you, this creation was created by randomness. By iPhone, you will not believe it was created even by a child. No randomness, because randomness is not entity, sister. Randomness is something. Imagine I'm walking and I'm just going like this. I'm start hitting people. Someone would say randomness. Randomness is not Shamsi. Randomness, you are describing action. Okay? So an action needs what? A doer. And a doer is an entity. So you are telling me randomness creates. Randomness doesn't create. Randomness needs an action. An action is doer. You see? Which doesn't make any sense. That's why, you know, out of respect, that's what's happening in universities and colleges and the schools. They tell them, say it was created by randomness or by chance. Chance is not entity. Chance is not something that exists by itself in the reality. You understand? Chance is an action that you do and you just do it like that. You understand? So my point here is, I just debunked that randomness creates, which doesn't make any sense. I have respect. Wallahi, I have respect. Doesn't make any sense. Okay, either this universe, including Yusuf, was created by non-existence or by a creator who is powerful, has a perfect knowledge, which we can see the manifestation of the knowledge and the wisdom and the power. We can see. So that's why, logically speaking, rationally, naturally, you incline toward there is a creator for this beautiful creation. Make sense? Alhamdulillah. What I would say to you, look, many people, the reason do not like to accept the creator, it boils down to two factors. That's the reality. It boils down to either social factor or psychological factor. Psychological factor, which is, he thinks if I accept the creator who possesses power, knowledge, wisdom, and so on, I have to submit to him and I follow his teaching. But there's many things I love which Islam tells me to not do, so I'm not gonna accept it, or we start looking for any excuse to reject it. Social factor, you know by accepting Islam, your own family will turn against you. But what I will say to you, know for a fact, and all of us, that we're going to die. And that's what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the Quran, He utilized rational arguments to prove His existence and that He should be worshipped alone and Islam is the truth. Likewise, He utilized psychological arguments. Why? Because some people, rational argument, they accept it and they will submit to their creator. Some people, psychological arguments, threatened by the fire and the death, and by, or remind them that this life that you are trying to be happy with and try to justify anything to reject your creator, the most obvious thing, then will not benefit you because you're going to die. Understand? So that's what I'm saying. Like I said, this, just looking at the creation, looking at Islamic legislation, it's impossible. This Islam comes from no creator. This Islam must come from a creator who's unknowing, and like our Prophet Muhammad, and we must have a creator that we should worship him alone. Who gave you life?
My parents.
Your parents gave you life? Okay. If your parents gave you life, okay, so therefore the parents give children's life. Yeah?
Sure, let's go.
Huh?
Yeah, sure.
So how come many children die before they were born? How come the parents never give them life?
Luck of the draw.
Huh?
Luck of the draw.
How come when you die they cannot give you life back again? If it was up to them to give you life? Because it's not up to them. They were just a means. You know the example I give, analogy, is like me in my room, I have a switch and there's a lamp. I turn on the switch, the light comes on. I'm not the one who made the light, the electricity. I'm just a cause. A means, that's it, a means. I'm a means to turn the light on. Just like you, a father and your mother, just a means. But the one who gave a life is someone outside that. That's what Allah told us to reflect upon ourselves. Understand? And you know, when you have no creator, you have no certainty. Everything is subjective. That's why what's his name? Today we're listening to him, man. The atheist, militant atheist. What's his name, man? That who always support Darwinian evolution. What's his name? The Richard Dawkins. Richard Dawkins. He's been asking about many things about when he's coming from a moral point of view, and he said, I cannot tell you is bad with certainty. And that's what Allah mentioned in the Quran about Musa when he told to Pharaoh, if you don't accept there is Allah, then you have no certainty at all. And that's the reality. Everything becomes subjective, and we see that right now. Because certainty comes from your creator. You see, you understand that? Yeah. That's why, worshiping a creator, like I said, it makes sense. There is a creator for this beautiful creation. And this creator, the way Allah describes himself in the Quran, it makes sense that he created this creation as well. Allah is not a man. How Allah describes himself, Al-Qawi. In Arabic, Al means all powerful. Al-Aziz, the Almighty. Al-Jabbar, the compeller. These names and attributes, no one come with this description of God other than the prophets and messengers. Even in the Torah and the Bible, it's not there, the way it's been described in the Quran. So looking at this creation and looking that Allah said that He creates creation, it makes sense. Because the way you describe yourself, makes sense that you create this creation. By Christianity, God got tired, God regrets. Doesn't make any sense. You understand? So do you have any question?
Just sort of comparisons with like other religions. For example, like Buddhism.
Yeah.
Like Buddhists believe that there's no God, like you're your own God. You can sort of live the same virtuous way as somebody in Islam would.
No, I wouldn't. Because why? Firstly, Buddhism is a philosophy which because you have to understand there's something
Like
exists.
morals and philosophy.
Yeah, but you have to differentiate between what exists in your mind and what exists in outside reality. All right? Everything can exist in your mind. Even claiming to your God, that's a contradiction. Because if you are the creator, you cannot be created. Doesn't make any sense. Secondly, Buddhism have nothing to do for. Buddhism is about you being unity of existence with the universe, which doesn't make any sense. Because why? If all of us we are God, I have more power than you, or you have more power than me, or he has more power than me. We're not the same. We're not all God. Like to our respect, maybe if you spoke about Christianity, Judaism, but when you look at Buddhism, Hinduism, someone made it up, and even it's not even beneficial for us how to deal with our societies. You see, it's not. That's why Islam is something which is a practical religion. You understand?
Yeah.
Like yeah, because that's why. Look, what I'm saying, there is not even a war against Buddhism or Hinduism, but against Islam. But yet Islam is spreading. Please, and isn't the Quran mentioned 1,400 years ago? Why there is a huge war against Islam? Why is not Buddhism? Because they know the only religion that is standing firm against those who try to corrupt our human nature is Islam. The evil ones on the top, they don't care about Buddhism. Be Buddhist, because Buddhism is just how you. They care about Islam because they know Islam will free mankind from being slave of their desires and societies. And those on the top evil ones, they don't want that. But to be Buddha, they Buddha themselves, they are Buddhist. I believe. You understand?
I like that point.
You like the point? Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah, from Allah, tawfiq. Alhamdulillah. So what we say, look, let me give you an example, yeah? Imagine in a house, afwan.
No problem.
Imagine in a house, may Allah forbid, and you wake up and there's a fire everywhere, and you try to save yourself. You try your best to save yourself. You couldn't. You gave up. And I saved you. What would you say to me at least?
Thank you.
Would you remember me all the time?
Yeah.
But I never gave you life though. So why we're not thinking about the one who gave us life for free? You know, Allah mentioned in the Quran, if you try to count Allah's blessings, you will never be able to do so. That's why Allah said, Ya ayyuhan nas, all mankind, not Muslims, everyone, fear your Lord, worship your Lord. Remember Allah's blessings on you. You understand? You without Allah, you know they say if you doubt Allah, you doubt your own self. And that's true. Because like I said, if you don't believe there's Allah, there's no certainty. Everything is subjective. To live this life, to have that, there's something within our body, nothing can fulfill it except when you submit to your Creator. That peace. People having ridiculous money and they commit suicide. What? You see? Because Allah mentioned in the Quran, أَلَا بِذِكْرِ اللَّهِ تَطْمَئِنُّ الْقُلُوبِ. With the remembrance of Allah, worshipping your Creator, you will find peace and tranquility. You know? How many people leave the house and never come back? How many people want to sleep, they never wake up? There are people like you and I talking, now they're gone. That's what our Prophet said, visit the graveyard. Because those who are inside the graves, they were like us today. Like to go back to my other point, that's why Allah threatened people with the death. Allah said, قُلْ إِنَّ الْمَوْتَ الَّذِي تَفِرُّونَ مِنْهُ فَإِنَّهُ مُلَاقِيكُمْ ثُمَّ تُرَدُّونَ إِلَىٰ عَالِمِ الْغَيْبِ وَالشَّهَادَةِ فَيُنَبِّئُكُمْ بِمَا كُنْتُمْ تَعْمَلُونَ. Say, O Muhammad, to them, to those who reject me, who turn away from me, the death that you try to run away from surely will meet you, and you will return to your Lord, who knows the seen and the unseen, and he will inform you of that which you used to do.
No one is doing da'wah for the sake of Allah is here. Do you know what they did? Disrespecting, rude. Imagine there were many audience and views.
Why you stop
But you stop him,
Imagine
akhi.
Shamsi came here. Do you know what they did, brother? No, you. No, you.
Yeah, but we're
Do you know
talking,
what they did?
akhi.
Do you know what they did,
Yeah.
brother? That's rude.
Who did?
Last time they done that
Who?
to me.
Who?
There's the da'wah channel. It's business channel, not da'wah channel.
لا أخي خلاص.
They did last
Be nice
time.
with your brothers.
No, brother.
But I'm speaking to
I
you.
want no one to record me. I'm doing
بارك الله فيك. Okay. خلاص. But if you do for the sake of Allah, you don't have to say it openly.
You don't want to show me, brother.
Okay, no problem. May Allah bless you.
I never meant you.
Okay, mashallah, no problem.
If you finish,
Sorry. Yeah,
finish your point. Just want to ask a question.
yeah, sorry.
Talk about it.
So, you know, speakers, have you been here before?
This first time. I just come here.
Speakers,
by the
Konna
way.
is a Junun.
I just come here for you, by the way.
Barakallah fik, man. Barakallah khair. May Allah forgive us. Anyway, yeah, no problem, akhi. So my point here is that have you been to Algeria or Morocco? Never. If someone tell you tomorrow you have to work in Morocco, Algeria, what you have to do first? You have to investigate the country that you're going to. Is it safe country? Is it cold country? Which currency they use? You don't say, you know what, I'm just going to get there And when I get there, I come to know. But maybe when you get there, it's dangerous. You are bringing the wrong money. So logic dictates one day we're going to die. We should step back. You know what? Why do I have to die? Every part of your body has a purpose. What about you as a whole? So when you look to Islam, nothing go in line with our, and why Islam is the truth, sorry akhi, why Islam is the truth? Because we have something called universal tools. What is our universal tools? Our sound reasoning, our natural inclination. When you analyze Islamic teaching, it goes in line with that. So it's like someone make a padlock, and after he gives you the key, and you open the padlock. So Allah gave us natural inclination of fitrah, then He sent down that revelation, because naturally we know what is right, what is wrong. You know you should be good to your mother, okay? But in a detailed information, you need what? You need the legislation from your Creator, who knows everything.
Brother, we just speak about Jannah, about paradise, right? She have two questions about that. Describe it. Okay. The second thing, who created?
Allah created. Allah is the creator of everything. Describing it, I mean, to be honest, to describe Jannah, I'm going to stay here for 2 days, 5 days. You know, Allah mentioned to summarize it. Prophet Muhammad ﷺ told us what is in Jannah, what the eyes never seen, what the ears never heard of, what the heart never thought of. So in paradise, there's everything. You know, there's like I said, this hadith itself it just gives you the what is in Jannah. Rather, to show you the beauty of paradise, Prophet Muhammad told us on the day of resurrection, on the day of resurrection, there will be a disbeliever. Allah will ask him, if I give you this world 10 times like this world, would you sacrifice it today to save yourself from the hellfire? He will say yes. Allah will say to him, I only ask you one thing, that you worship me alone and you don't associate anything as a partner with me. But today it's too late for you. So if this world is nothing, what you see here is nothing in comparison to paradise. You understand? That's why Prophet Muhammad told us about this life is cursed. Except what? The remembrance of Allah and the seeker of knowledge. So this life is nothing. Paradise, everything is there. Whatever you desire is there. You see? Alhamdulillah. So if you want to learn, go to the Quran. There's more about Jannah, about the woman. The Prophet Muhammad said, the woman, they will be more beautiful there. They don't get no old. You understand? The provision come to you. There's no work. You know, there's no tiredness. You don't even sleep in Jannah. Because sleep is what? It's a sign of tiredness. Jannah, there's no tiredness. وَهُمْ فِيهَا خَالِدُونَ. They will be forever. You know, subhanAllah, look at Allah's wisdom. You know, now we're trying to discover something to live in this life forever. Yeah? But living this life forever is not good. Too many calamities. You know, we cannot take it, you go crazy. That's why Allah, He knows that humans, they desire to live forever. But I told them, no, if you're sincere and you worship me alone, I'm going to give you a place that you live forever, which is no calamities in there, no troubles, paradise. But if you turn away from me, which is the biggest, the greatest crime, then you have the hellfire forever. That's why those who go to the hellfire, don't blame no one except themselves.
So what do you get in paradise?
Whatever you want. Whatever you desire.
Yeah, but those are human desires. What if there's
different types of food, different types of
those are
houses.
Human and physical.
Yeah,
Really would be something metaphysical, something.
We don't have some metaphysical. I understand where you're coming from. Yeah. The biggest blessing in Jannah is to see Allah, your Creator. You know, when you many times when the sun is rising or setting, people what they do, they take their phone, start taking pictures. Yeah, they saw the horizon, or you see the moon, you're amazed, or tree, or you go to the mountains, you're amazed. You're just amazed with this creation. What about the Creator of this creation? Yes, that bless, you know, that because Allah wants us to enjoy Jannah. When a believer see Allah in Jannah, they will forget all of that which you call quote unquote physical things. Yeah, they'll forget, but Allah wants them to join it. So Allah will allow them to join it more and more and forever. That's what Allah said. Don't be deceived by this life. Don't be deceived. This life is nothing. This life is like your own shadow. You know, if you try to catch your shadow, you'll never be able to. So if you want your shadow to follow you, turn away from it. Likewise, this life. Always, you know, always we go to nightclub. You know, regardless how much time you go to nightclub, you always want to go more. You understand? But even if you go to nightclub, that happiness is called fake happiness. You know, You understand? The true
So
happiness.
in that sense, let's say you're in paradise and you have everything you could have.
Inshallah.
Wouldn't it get boring?
No, you don't. That's
That's a deficiency from this world.
That's a deficiency from this world, sis. The perfection of paradise, there is no board. Like even there's a verse in the Quran. You know, sometimes you build a nice house. Then 5 days later, you know what? I think the kitchen, it was much better to be on the other side. Yeah? In paradise, none of that. Whatever you see, you think, there's more and more and more.
Maybe
The eternal life.
Sorry for interrupting.
No, no problem at all.
Maybe mention the last person who get to the paradise when Allah asked him about like, I will give you the Sulaiman like 10 multiplied by 10. Maybe you can explain.
There's the other one, which is a Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam told us that there's a person who will be the last person to enter paradise. Then Allah will say to him, I will give you, before you go paradise, I will give you the richest king in the world that existed. I give you like his what he owns and his dominion, and more and more and more. He said, no, I want paradise. Imagine now how many kings people want to be like king. Imagine 10 times you're the richest king in the world in history. You don't want it when you see paradise. That's why, sister, that's why you see the young Muslims, brothers and sisters, what really strengthened my iman, my faith as well, in Islam. When I see Muslims in the Western world, when everything is open for them to do haram, yeah? But yet they turn away from it at the age of 16, 17. The age when you have strong desires, but they turn away from to practice Islam because they know the reward of paradise. Or you see a sister covering herself because she knows the reward of paradise. She knows this world is nothing in comparison of paradise. But before we move on, so it makes sense to you Allah exists and it makes sense about Islam? So far?
I understand what you're saying.
Of course you understand, I speak English. I'm not speaking Polish, am I? Of course you understand. What country are you from, by the way?
That's Hungary.
Hungary, okay.
Yeah, I'm not saying you're going to convert me today.
No, I'm not saying convert. Look, sister, what is upon me to convey the message? As for changing the heart, that belongs to Allah. I can't, I can't guide no one. There's two types of guidance. There's guidance which shall show you the truth, and there's guidance changing your hearts. There were prophets and messengers who were the best preachers. They had the best, they were the most eloquent, the most convincing people. And yet they did not convince some people. Not because the problem with the prophets and messengers, because the problem with the people. But sometimes maybe you need a type. No problem with that. But something you have to understand, that there's something is coming after us which is death. Understand? But what I'm saying, what I've mentioned so far, logically, rationally makes sense?
Yes.
Alhamdulillah. That's the point. Alhamdulillah. So can I have 25 pounds, please? He said, no one's doing for the sake of Allah. I agree, I need some money, man. Astaghfirullah. I'm joking.
Last question.
I'm joking. Go on, akhi.
It's about the man and the woman in Islam. Like, I just explained, like, it's a justice is not equal, right?
No, all the time. That's true.
Of course. Can you just explain that about the difference between them?
Okay, in the sight of Allah, men and women are equal. Okay, what do we mean by that? In terms of doing the righteous actions and punishment. If you commit sin and you commit sin, the same sin, in the sight of Allah, there's no difference between the two. Okay, so that's firstly. Secondly, when it comes to social roles and physical, then we are different, no doubt about that. Okay, so for example, but like I said, when it comes to giving hasanat, the reward and punishment, we are same. And now socially,